Canadian, please? Even if in winter things tend to freeze, we got the world monopoly on trees, and our country's bordered by 3 different seas.
Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. We invented the zipper, we got expertise. We made insulin to combat disease. Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please.
We took up the monarchy, the US has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koala chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian.
Et si ce n'était pas assez, on a 2 langues officielles, l'anglais et le français. Ooh la la.
Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. Where else do you find mounted police or go to the hospital and not pay fees? I know that you wanna be Canadian, please.
And when freshwater's in high demand, we got the world's largest supply on hand. So you know that we can make a pretty good friend, but it's even better if you can.
We took up the monarchy, the US has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koala chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian.
So you're thinking to yourself, how do I live in this beautiful country? Well, I've got some steps for you to follow.
Step 1, lose the gun. Step 2, buy a canoe. Step 3, live multiculturally. Step 4, you ready? There is no more. We got beavers, caribou, and moose. We got buffalo, bears, a Canadian goose. And we're sorry about Celine Dion, but she did do that good song for James Cameron. Cameron.
We took up the monarchy, the US has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koala chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The Greeks all chill with Socrates, can't build a wall like the Chinese, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. In Kenya they have safaris, we miss lots of other countries, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. Even if in winter things tend to freeze, we got the world monopoly on trees, and our country's bordered by 3 different seas.
Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. We invented the zipper, we got expertise. We made insulin to combat disease. Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please.
We took up the monarchy, the US has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koala chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian.
Et si ce n'était pas assez, on a 2 langues officielles, l'anglais et le français. Ooh la la.
Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. Where else do you find mounted police or go to the hospital and not pay fees? I know that you wanna be Canadian, please.
And when freshwater's in high demand, we got the world's largest supply on hand. So you know that we can make a pretty good friend, but it's even better if you can.
We took up the monarchy, the US has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koala chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian.
So you're thinking to yourself, how do I live in this beautiful country? Well, I've got some steps for you to follow.
Step 1, lose the gun. Step 2, buy a canoe. Step 3, live multiculturally. Step 4, you ready? There is no more. We got beavers, caribou, and moose. We got buffalo, bears, a Canadian goose. And we're sorry about Celine Dion, but she did do that good song for James Cameron. Cameron.
We took up the monarchy, the US has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koala chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The Greeks all chill with Socrates, can't build a wall like the Chinese, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. In Kenya they have safaris, we miss lots of other countries, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. Even if in winter things tend tend to freeze. We got the world monopoly on trees, and our country's bordered by 3 different seas.
Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. We invented the zipper, we got expertise. We made insulin to combat disease. Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please.
We took out the monarchy, the U.S. has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koalas chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian.
Et si ce n'était pas assez, on a 2 langues officielles, l'anglais et le français. Ouh là là.
Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. Where else do you find mounted police or go to the hospital and not pay fees? I know that you wanna be Canadian, please.
And when fresh water's in high demand, we got the world's largest supply on hand. So you know that we can make a pretty good friend, but it's even better if you can.
We took out the monarchy, the U.S. has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koalas chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian.
So you're thinking to yourself, how do I live in this beautiful country? Well, I've got some steps for you to follow.
Step 1, lose the gun. Step 2, buy a canoe. Step 3, live multiculturally. Step 4, you ready? There is no more. We got beavers, caribou, and moose. We got buffalo bears and Canadian goose. And we're sorry about Celine Dion, but she did do that good song for James Cameron. Cameron.
We took out the monarchy, the U.S. has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koalas chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The Greeks all chill with Socrates, can't build a wall like the Chinese, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. In Kenya they have safaris, we miss lots of other countries, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. Even if in winter things tend to freeze, we got the world monopoly on trees, and our country's bordered by 3 different seas.
Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. We invented the zipper, we got expertise. We made insulin to combat disease. Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please.
We took out the monarchy, the U.S. has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koalas chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian.
Et si ce n'était pas assez, on a 2 langues officielles, l'anglais et le français. Ouh là là.
Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. Where else do you find mounted police or go to the hospital and not pay fees? I know that you wanna be Canadian, please.
And when fresh water's in high demand, we got the world's largest supply on hand. So you know that we can make a pretty good friend, but it's even better if you can.
We took out the monarchy, the U.S. has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koalas chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian.
So you're thinking to yourself, how do I live in this beautiful country? Well, I've got some steps for you to follow.
Step 1, lose the gun. Step 2, buy a canoe. Step 3, live multiculturally. Step 4, you ready? There is no more. We got beavers, caribou, and moose. We got buffalo bears and Canadian goose. And we're sorry about Celine Dion, but she did do that good song for James Cameron. Cameron.
We took out the monarchy, the U.S. has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koalas chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The Greeks all chill with Socrates, can't build a wall like the Chinese, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. Canadian, please. Even if in winter things tend to freeze, we got the world monopoly on trees, and our country's bordered by 3 different seas.
Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. We invented the zipper, we got expertise. We made insulin to combat disease. Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please.
We took out the monarchy, the U.S. has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koalas chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian.
Et si ce n'était pas assez, on a 2 langues officielles, l'anglais et le français. Ooh la la.
Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. Where else do you find mounted police or go to the hospital and not pay fees? I know that you wanna be Canadian, please.
And when fresh water's in high demand, we got the world's largest supply on hand. So you know that we can make a pretty good friend, but it's even better if you can.
We took out the monarchy, the U.S. has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koalas chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian.
So you're thinking to yourself, how do I live in this beautiful country? Well, I've got some steps for you to follow.
Step 1, lose the gun. Step 2, buy a canoe. Step 3, live multiculturally. Step 4, you ready? There is no more. We got beavers, caribou, and moose. We got buffalo, bears, and Canadian goose. And we're sorry about Celine Dion, but she did do that good song for James Cameron.
We took out the monarchy, the U.S. has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koalas chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The Greeks all chill with Socrates, can't build a wall like the Chinese, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. In Kenya they have safaris with mixed lots of other countries, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. Even if in winter things tend to freeze, we got the world monopoly on trees, and our country's bordered by 3 different seas.
Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. We invented the zipper, we got expertise. We made insulin to combat disease. Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please.
We took out the monarchy, the U.S. has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koalas chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian.
Et si ce n'était pas assez, on a 2 langues officielles, l'anglais et le français. Ooh la la.
Yeah, I know that you wanna be Canadian, please. Where else do you find mounted police or go to the hospital and not pay fees? I know that you wanna be Canadian, please.
And when fresh water's in high demand, we got the world's largest supply on hand. So you know that we can make a pretty good friend, but it's even better if you can.
We took out the monarchy, the U.S. has the money, but I know that you wanna be Canadian. The French will get the wine and cheese, koalas chew with the Aussies, but I know that you wanna be Canadian.
So you're thinking to yourself, how do I live in this beautiful country? Well, I've got some steps for you to follow.
Step 1, lose the gun. Step 2, buy a canoe. Step 3, live.
Fuck, I did it again. Okay, look, if anybody's gonna say Jen sounds like a tin can, I remember I remedied that with these headphones, and then I just fucking forgot, and just remembered right now. Which really sucks, because we're supposed to be starting right now. But that's okay, because I'm blind. Yeah, that's why I forgot. Okay.
Hey.
Oh god, that is not. Aw, shit. Is my USB port. Like, is this one fucked too?
I don't know. I hope not. That's funny.
What
Yeah, I
did
just had to point out that Elwin and I just said the same thing, basically. About
Shit.
cryptic not being real.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with the edibles and yeah, the one with the puppets. The devil went down to Jamaica. It's old. To be fair, that was an old one. And I was like, oh my god, I could just see people losing their minds if you posted that on Twitter. I'm gonna give it a little bit more time. You know, I think everyone's enjoying the Twitter right now, and I fully support that. But let's let the man, like, settle in first before we, you know, cause problems. There are many old videos I'd like to share. You know, just old humor that people might have forgotten. Although, to be fair, it's kind of creepy that that video was kind of in and around the time that we were electing Trudeau. You know, just saying. That whole, yeah, people want pot. Yeah, they did want pot. That's why I was mad at the Conservatives. I was like, don't leave a hole. Don't leave a
Hey,
hole.
Cryptic, hey, Elwin.
Hi, Ellen.
Hey, Streamlabs. Don't leave a hole. Yeah, but the problem is that if that hole doesn't align with conservative values, then I would have been pissed.
I think so. I think that's part of the reason why it was so maddening was because it was such a minor thing. Like I get not wanting to open the doors to, and yeah, I am gonna say it. I know there's some other people who disagree with me on this level, but I know that some people were afraid of it opening the doors to other drugs. But I was like, okay, listen, this conflation of pot with other drugs, I'm sick of it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Well, other people think it's a gateway too, and I mean, it doesn't have to be like other drugs, but it can be a gateway to that. And the only
But I mean,
and it's not from the addiction point. So people think, well, it's not going to make you like crave it more. But here's the thing: you can get such a euphoric feeling, such a great feeling, in fact, that when that feeling starts to dissipate because you smoke too much, you're tempted to try other drugs because marijuana feels pretty good, and so why not try another one? I mean, the government, you know, doesn't like any of them, so we might as well try it because maybe it's not as bad as the government says.
yeah, but then you got to look at every other drug that actually does that because smoking does that, so does drinking,
Yep.
alcohol, all of them do that.
I know.
And we already saw why that didn't work with the alcohol. Like people kind of do want what they want.
True.
It's why I was kind of like, well, that's why we moderated those.
And I
You
mean,
know, like-
I get that other things do, but just because other things do too doesn't mean, well, since other stuff does, you might as well legalize this. Like, that's not a good reason either to abandon your principles, because here's the thing. You know what this actually, if you wanted to look at it right, I could say that people prioritized getting high to escape life higher than freedom, higher than having more money that's actually worth something in your pocket, higher than freedom of speech. Higher.
They can if you leave it open for it to be used like that.
But that's the thing. Like, what has stopped me from going, okay, I really want pot legal, but all of the other things is not worth that. Nobody thought that. Think about that for a minute.
They did. Trust me when I tell you that they did. It's just the problem with the argument is always going to be that, well, why can't we open the door to this? Why can't we open the door to that? And you're always going to end up weighing the pros and cons on why we should do this and why we should do that.
Yeah, but somebody who firmly stands and says, no, freedom, top shelf, like, is willing to die for it, wouldn't have to weigh their pros and cons. They would just know. What that really means is we have a sick society. Because if your first instinct is not to stand for your principles first and the feeling of pot second, if that is not the thing that you would die for,
Why are you conflating principles with pot though? I think that's kind of where I'm at. Like,
I'm
I
not.
think that's kind of
I'm not at all. What I'm saying is the highest principle over all the other ones is pot. You prioritized pot over your principles.
no. I prioritized getting pot out of the hands of the electoral because they were going to use it to at some point push the election, which they did. It was one of those debates where they'd inflated it with politics, kind of like they do with a lot of things that they use for politics to conflate and pull people in for conversations that honestly they could have been honest about pot.
Hey, Sixers.
They could have been.
Welcome.
Yeah. Like I mean that in all honesty, like, leave the medical side out of it. Like if in all honesty, people from the pot side were just like, hey, you know what? People drink coffee. People have cigarettes. They have beer. Why can't I have a joint? I would still stand with them on that because it was still a,
I stand with that. It's good that I stand with it's good that it's legal. I stand it didn't need to be illegal. I stand with why. But here's the thing: to get pot, we had to elect a dictator, which means people are willing to elect someone like Trudeau that can have bullets fired at his own people because pot.
But they went after kids, BG. That's why they did that. That's why I wanted it to take it out of their hands because I was like, well, of course they're going to aim it at children.
They would have talked about it back and forth for a while because that's what politics is.
Mm-hmm.
The discussion back and forth over legislation.
They also want to.
But that is politics, and people would rather choose pot over trusting the process to do it. Damn it, donation.
Lucky Charms donation. Let's all get pies together.
No, I
Yummy,
didn't.
delicious pies. I want to stick my face into a creamy hot pie. Pour some delicious whipped cream down my throat as I gurgle it down.
Ah, God!
Nom nom nom.
Ah! Fuck!
Yeah.
God damn it! Okay. Whew, I'm back in the debate mode. Whew, whew.
Yeah, I'm just saying, don't donate stuff in my name. You guys leave me out of your weird, gross shit party.
Yeah, okay,
Just saying.
that happens sometimes. Sorry about that, Sixer Tales. This is like, we have like debates, but at the same time, lighthearted funnies at the same time. But yeah, like, I don't think anybody who voted for it actually thought to themselves, fuck freedom, I want pot. I don't think that happened. What troubles me is that the first instinct wasn't, this guy's a dictator, don't do it. And I don't think the people are bad for that. I just think it's kind of means that our society is sick because we're not willing to lay down everything automatically for freedom. It's not about the pot. It's about nobody even thought, okay, pot freedom. And this guy was willing to shoot at people.
Yeah, but at the time that we were electing him, and I'm not necessarily speaking for myself, but back in 2015, he wasn't nearly as cuckoo as he is now. Like this thing that like okay, like no one was thinking, "Oh yeah, he's super Chinese." They were thinking, "Oh yeah, he looks like the son of Castro." You know, like he's got family in our system that's done the work before.
And abandon the military.
He was also very much into the liberal school system at the time. Like he was going from school to school talking to colleges like a liberal. Like more open-minded about his conversation. Like was it a script? I don't doubt he was reading from a script. He's always been reading from a script. But yeah, that the thing with the pot, it was more of just he was the only party at the time who was legit open to talking about it outside of Montclair.
Well, he he was pretty leftist from the beginning. And I only know this for one reason. It wouldn't have been him that would have been leftist. The liberals were going pretty left at the time of the election. And the reason I know this is because they were on the verge of eliminating autism-specific schools because they said we were treating them lesser, and to put autistics in regular public school the same as everybody else because equal outcome. They were actually doing that.
Look.
They were on the verge of that, especially our liberal premier. I remember protesting that before Doug Ford got in, that they wanted to have everybody the same, that normal is just a word, that autism wasn't any different. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? You're gonna cause a bunch of kids to not get an education. Hey, Big Joe, what the fuck you doing? And then Trudeau got elected, and it was interesting because I used to be a liberal. I liked Trudeau when he first got elected because I remember saying to my mom, he's the first prime minister that did exactly what he said he was going to do the first year of his term, which is legalize pot. He went and did it. Like, that's interesting. And then I actually got into politics, and I went, oh shit, no. Like, I thought fiscally conservative, but I didn't have these very strong-winded principles like I do now. The culture war kind of launched me into the right wing. But at the start, I still remember thinking the Liberal Party had lost their fucking mind. Because they were trying to make everything equal. And autism was the first blacks.
I also know a lot of people were legit not happy with the idea of Tom Mulcair getting in. So there were some people who I think went for the Liberals thinking that they were like the lesser of two evils because they didn't think Harper was going to make it. Like,
yeah. And
like I'm not saying this, you know, I'm not saying this is someone who disliked, because I liked Harper. He could have gone on for a lot longer.
Harper. You want to know what the funny thing about Harper is? The Native community came out in droves to elect Trudeau. Okay, think about this. But when Harper was elected, he upped the funding for Native communities. Like Wabano Center got extra funding. And so it's funny because he upped the funding for Natives. But the one that got them out to vote for them was Justin Trudeau, because he vowed, you know, to find out about the residential schools and vowed to do this and promised that. And all the Natives were like, yeah, we backed the Liberal guy. He's going to give us a bunch of shit. I'm like, dude, he doubled the funding for our centers. What the fuck you thought? And they went out and voted for him. And I'm like, the fuck? This doesn't... The fuck? What the... Like, wow. So, yeah, you know, and I mean, now that my kidneys have failed, I am so happy marijuana is legal, okay? Don't get me wrong. But I'm just, now that I've seen what we got, I wonder if this guy was worth the price.
I don't think it's that it wasn't worth the price. I just wish that, I just wish the other guys had been willing to talk about it. That's where I'm really angry, because I would have been willing to wait for it. I already waited. You know, there's people who've waited their whole lives for it. We could have waited longer. It was just, even if Steven could have just lied and said, hey, you know what, we'll talk about it, he would have still won.
Yeah.
But I would have been pissed because he lied, you know?
I know. I know.
And I mean, like, that bends my principles too. And, like... You know, I, like you, wouldn't have trusted the Conservatives to think this over anyways. You're right. They probably wouldn't have, not for a good long while, because, you know, Conservatives are the stiff suits, you know? But now that I understand where the left is going, I do think to myself, damn it, was pot worth this? Was it worth this? I should have seen something. I should have looked at it a little better. Hey, Daryl, I should have understood what I was cheering for. I didn't vote him in because that year I voted for Harper, but I wonder, is it worth the price? Hindsight's 2020, I guess. And I wonder why we don't think more about it until after we vote. I'm a little bit angry that we don't. That we've all taken the stupid pill and have been blinded to what it actually says in the legislation. Did you know that legislation used to be like a couple of sentences and that was it, because not everybody could read and write and shit? Like, bills were maybe half a page. It had to be read out to everybody. Back then, back when America was first created, and Canada was first created, legislation was not, this is a 100-page long bill and you've got 48 hours to read it. What? It wasn't like that. And I wonder if letting it get like that is one of our biggest problems. That not everybody understands what's being done or what's being asked of the public. And not everybody has been taught how to parse the lines.
Pretty much, and most of the people who should know how to have apparently forgotten how to.
Yeah, like we're trusting other people to interpret stuff for us, and that is just leaving things open for problems because people lie. Or people frame things differently. Like, for example, right now on Twitter, when the left says, we gotta protect the most vulnerable of us, what they really mean is alphabet soup will be angry if they see anything that doesn't affirm what they believe. But we don't have anybody to parse those lines for everybody that everybody trusts and understands. It's like the general population should be able to do that because we clearly can't trust those that are supposed to do it for us. Why we decided we should have people do it for us is beyond me, because people are dicks. People are dicks. It's just it's crazy.
One of the nice things I saw on Twitter though was people actually getting their accounts reinstated. So I was sharing a bunch of people just so that they could get a chance to maybe rebuild their stuff.
Hey, I wonder if I'll get unbanned.
I would check. I would absolutely 100% check because it's been going around. But also check your accounts, especially if you've built anything on there. Because you can get some of that back.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get all of it, but you might get some of it. So
I didn't build that big of a Twitter following because I'm not actually very good with social media. Unfortunately. I'm not very good. I should use Twitter every day and build a bit of a following. It might help the channel grow. I should actually start doing that since I have more time sitting down. Why was Blind Girl banned from Twitter? Because I told somebody to take the Tide Pod challenge.
oh yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
And at the time, Mandy was pissed at me, and so was a couple of other people, and they sprigged out and flagged me. Fucking Mandy. Damn Mandy! You were banned from Twitter for hairy toe pics? No, I wasn't. But that would have hurt them. Well, no. It wouldn't have hurt them. Kill. You see, hurt and kill, two different things. Like, if Jen walked up to me and was like, hey, blind girl, would you rather hurt or kill as in I kill you? And I'd be like, oh, geez, kill. Yeah, kill, because hurt would suck. Oh yeah, I'm not using this mic anymore. I should just use my headphone mic. Or am I using this mic? I don't know. Crap, I don't know which mic I'm using. Am I using my desk mic or my headphones mic? Shit, how do I figure this out? Oh, I know. Okay, I'm using my headphone mic.
Are you sure?
Nope, I'm using my desk mic. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I tapped both of them, and I'm like, oh shit, and my voice did get lower when I moved my mic over there, but, whoops. Yeah, so that happened, and then, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. I know what most people are gonna say, but, hear me out. I think everybody should listen to the Johnny Depp testimony. Because it's a good movie. Starring Johnny Depp. I guess I should explain why. Okay, so the way he's talking, it takes him like 2, 3, sometimes 5 minutes to answer one fucking question. And you think to yourself, why the fuck is it taking so long just to answer questions? And it's because every question he takes you on a journey. And you feel what he's saying and taste what he's tasting in the memory. He says it and strings it in such a way that it feels like 2 seconds. It's captivating and amazing. And I figured it out. It's because he doesn't think I don't think he thinks he's gonna win. I think he knows he's gonna lose, but it was important to him that everybody heard his side of the story because the accusations were a cross that his children were gonna have to bear, not just him, and that bothered him. And so, if you want to listen to something truly amazing happening right now in the time that you are in fact alive, you can look at your grandkids and say, I was there when Johnny Depp did his thing. Okay? If you want to be that person, go watch his testimony. And also, Amber Heard's a bitch. Just
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is. She's yeah. She's an example of what the feminists should have been fearing. Equal rights.
yeah.
Because now men can claim that they're being abused, which is good actually. I'm glad.
Yeah. The
So,
law, just because we're a protected class, doesn't mean the law shouldn't be applied equally.
Exactly.
If there is an extra strong punishment, if you're found guilty of beating your woman, then there should be an extra harsh punishment for any woman that fucking lies about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, not 1 year in prison, like 5 or 10 years in prison to really think about that shit. Because, we want to protect women from men killing them in relationships, which means we want to not incentivize them to use that to their gain. Because women are manipulative, and we will. If you allow us to get away with shit, we will fucking use that at our disposal. Tenacity is like a given gift when you have like XX chromosomes. Wait. It's XX, right? Not XY? Or is it XY that's women and X? Whichever one is the woman one.
Women is XY, women is XX, male is XY. And when it boils down to it, a woman found guilty of abusing a man or making false allegations should actually receive the same sentence that a man would have gotten if found guilty of what he was being accused of.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'm okay with there being extra time knocked on because a man beat his wife. Only because a man can kill his wife a lot easier than his wife can kill him when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. And yes, I know there's poison, electricity, and all that other shit, but generally speaking, when it comes to domestic abuse, men can kill their women a lot better. And it happened a lot. So I would want there to be extra de-incentivization of man hitting woman. However, I also want super extra de-incentivization for a woman that fucking lies about it. Because it's like, look, if we're protecting you by deterring men from hitting you because they have a few extra years in prison, then if you fucking lie about it, you get the same shit except extra. Because we don't want that shit. We want it to do what it was supposed to do, which was just make sure men stopped killing their women back before there was no fault divorce or whatever the fuck else, you know? But now that women are becoming a lot more independent, and women apparently are also becoming a lot more fucking cunty, we gotta de-incentivize them from using that to their advantage. That would be the least loss of life. I would, at this time, that's what I would believe. I don't actually know if that's how that would roll, but, you know, that's kind of where I stand on that.
I agree with that, but I also think that to even the scales out, I also think that the justice system needs to really kind of take the violence from women thing a little bit more seriously. Like, I get that, like, a woman beating the crap out of a man might be laughable to some men because, you know, I might not be able to hit you as hard, but that's still not right.
Oh, I don't think it's right, and I think you should get assault charges and whatever the fuck else law you broke at that time.
Like, that's what I mean. Like it's just
I
when they
want
laugh
the law applied equally. The only thing is I would say I would give the judge the ability to give extra time to a man, especially if their jurisprudence sees that there is a high chance of reoffending. Because the extra years aren't just because I'm fucking pissed at you for hitting your wife. The extra years are supposed to be there at a judge's discretion to say, all right, what is the likelihood of this guy being a repeat offender? But you should also be able to use that against a woman. I just think the extra years, like I said, it's more of a prevention. Because, you know, a woman dies a lot more than a man when it comes to, you know, beating. Unless there's objects involved, but even then. And so the risk of loss of life would be higher. And that's why I don't necessarily treat them equally. I think it's both equally as shit. I think women are fucking cunts. I think they're lying pieces of shit that should get off the goddamn pedestal right fucking now. But I still do agree with discretion on being able to add sentencing years because of that, to add extra deterrence because of the high loss of life when it comes to that. If the policy doesn't work out the way I think it should, then that sucks, and I guess I have to rethink what would be just and or fair. And of course, it's just a opinion without any kind of education behind it, or experience, or anything. And for the record, it's not because I am against men either. I happen to love men. Matter of fact, the manlier, the better. I like man smell. You know, not fucking feminized man smell. Like, I don't want to smell Tinkerbell from your nuts, okay? Like, yeah. No Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell bad.
So you admit you like to smell men's nuts?
Yep,
Gotcha.
she did.
Yeah. Somebody click that, please.
Yep. Cryptic is watching this.
Well, at least it's not Mank Pete.
He could be. Nah, there's only 2 people watching. So you and me, pretty much.
New York GOP wins as court rules Democrat-drawn congressional maps are unconstitutional. Interesting. I didn't even know that was happening. Is that redistricting, Trucker? I guess he's busy.
Yeah, it's redistricting, what they call gerrymandering.
Okay, and I guess they did it too far this time?
Possibly.
And they ruled against them. In New York, for that matter.
Yeah, but is that New York City or New York State? That actually kind of makes a difference.
Well, New York GOP, so the general opposition, that would be for the state, not the city.
Okay.
A New York court has ruled that congressional maps drawn are unconstitutional. So, like, they won in a blue state and a blue court. Yeah, it's on unconstitutionally gerrymandered. Earlier this year, New York Republicans filed a lawsuit against the Democrat-controlled state legislature, alleging that the congressional maps they had drawn up were gerrymandered to favor Democrats, according to the AP. So yeah. Sorry about that, Jen. I didn't mean to go into American stuff. That just caught my attention.
You're fine. You got a donation.
Ooh, I can hear it.
Yep. Oh, God.
Big_Dros_Nuts donated 3 Canadian dollars. Come, bask in my olfactory goodness. I have not been bathed in 3 weeks.
Why does it have to be in a fucking factory on top of that? Just saying. No.
A factory?
Yeah.
What do you mean a factory? I did not hear that.
Oh, well, I don't remember it now. Just saying. I don't, yeah. Elon Musk says Truth Social exists because Twitter censored free speech. I like you, Elon, even though we're on opposite sides of the aisle.
Olfactory goodness. That's scent.
Oh, okay. Oh, Jesus. Donation.
He's telling you to smell his nuts.
Donation.
Lucky Charms donation. So, last night, I went ham on myself. I literally put ham on myself and walked outside. I was greeted by a pack of hungry cat. I am now missing a nipple and possibly a nut. Worth it, fam.
Okay, it's ew, but I don't believe you. You wanna know why I don't believe you? Because there are a pack of cats. You've been missing more than that, sir. Just saying. I mean, you're just extra meat that's walking with meat. Just saying. Like, and what? DHS Secretary Mayorkas? Oh, I don't care about you. You're DHS. Oh, hey. Donald Trump Jr. launches 2A group to fight gun control restrictions. Interesting. I see he's going into politics too.
Oh, Junior going 2A. I like it.
Yeah. Is he the Jew?
No, that's Ivanka's daughter or husband.
Oh, okay. Donald Trump Jr. is set to launch a new gun advocacy group that he says will fight Democrats' gun control efforts. Wow. That's interesting.
Go on.
Oh, okay. The Second Amendment is the whole ball game. It's the freedom that protects all of our other freedoms. Unfortunately, the Biden administration and Democrats in Congress are hell-bent on eroding our constitutional right to keep and bear arms, whether it's nominating radical gun grabbers to senior positions in the executive branch or pushing anti-gun legislation. Huh.
Well, actually, the funny part is, it came out today in several of the channels I follow, as far as 2A stuff, that apparently the ATF has admitted that the new set of rules they just released a week or so ago, they have admitted that a lot of those new rules are actually unconstitutional.
Yeah. Well, all of it's unconstitutional, technically.
Well, basically anything, yeah. When it comes to the Second Amendment, the moment they say, well, you shouldn't be able to, that's a violation.
Then he says, and I love the imagery here, we had to make sure that the American people knew what was going on, especially with red state Democrats. I love how he just said red state Democrats, that's what he's called them. If they're considering casting an anti-Second Amendment vote, we're going to make sure they feel the pain. This new group will help us put more structure and resources around those efforts to make sure we're as successful as we can be. I like how he said red state Democrats just because I remember the movie Red State. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
Yeah. Oh, Twitter's gross. Still gross. Okay.
Shit.
Hi, Pete. Nice of him to visit you. You know,
So I
one
think
of
when
these
they're
days
saying,
he can visit the stream too. What?
I think when they're saying red state Democrats, I think they're talking about the what they used to call the blue dog Democrats.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with their red flag laws or whatever it is. Hey, Pete. Credible threat.
Yeah.
But I just like that because it reminds me of the movie, which was just, violent and bloody.
Fair enough.
So, yeah. I'm just trying to look up some Canadian stuff, and everything else is catching my attention. Like, Jack Posobiec says Elon Musk has purchased evidence with the Twitter buy. Essentially, he didn't just purchase a company, he purchased evidence. He purchased evidence in criminal cases. That's what he's got here, and that's what you're seeing. And it's interesting because there's a, quote, conspiracy going around that leftists at Twitter are shredding evidence right now because in the past 48 hours, Ben Shapiro got 200,000 followers. And Taylor Swift lost like a whole shit ton. And so he's like, and they're like, well, that's because of all of the leftists leaving and conservatives joining back. And not everybody believes that. They're like, no. Those were algorithmic fucking bottlenecking that just quit. So the conspiracy is that Twitter is shredding the evidence before Elon Musk gets to go over it. So yeah, Human Events Daily host Jack Posobiec broke down Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter, explaining how the Tesla and SpaceX CEO bought evidence of criminal cases with his Twitter buyout. Hey, I wonder if he's going to go, hey, all you people, you want the evidence so that you can sue Twitter? Obviously the old CEO is not his company now, but like he could probably get money for that shit. They're deboosting liberal accounts right now. Anna Navarro had a post up that said that she's losing followers. Meanwhile, myself, Cernovich, Libs of TikTok, which just hit 1 million followers. Thank you, Taylor Lorenz. That excellent promotional article you did for us, or did for her. So, you know, people are just getting followers and losing followers. According to star tracking site Social Blade, the Libs of TikTok account has seen an increase of 391,000 followers in the past 30 days. 331,754 of those followers have come since the hit piece's release on April 19th. Oh, my birthday, what do you know? The largest gain was made on April 20th, when the account saw an increase of 165,000 followers. So, yeah, everybody on our side got a massive boost out of nowhere. And you know what it is. They're pulling the brakes out. They're trying to cover up all of their tracks because they know what they've been doing. James O'Keefe proved this with the shadow banning. So, yeah. He proved it. James O'Keefe found the algorithms within Silicon Valley. They do this stuff. They went into Google. They found that you couldn't search for things like the Las Vegas shooting, couldn't be searched on Google. Or if you did, they'd divert you to different things. It ain't just Twitter. He's opening the box. Ooh. Wow. He's telling you every single thing that's been done to conservatives and been done to truth tellers for the past 6 years, all the way back to 2016, because that's really what this is putting the populist movement back in the box. And so when he says you could censor news that you might not like, oh, really? You mean like the hard drive from hell that the great Emma Morris reported the hell out of in the New York Post, and you all censored? Andy Stone from Facebook has a tweet up saying that they're going to conduct an internal review because this looks like disinformation. So we're going to prevent the spread of it across Facebook, Twitter, of course. So yeah, this is the big conspiracy that the tech giant's box has been open.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You're fine. It's just every neighborhood dog is like, hello, I'm here.
I just thought that was a big shebang because I don't know how I want to. I want to sit there and be like, hooray, the box is opening, but I feel like too easy. You know what I mean?
Nah, I'm just watching and eating the salt. And then also, it's a really good time to build. I'm just saying, if you're into social media building, now's the time to do it. Because there's kind of a free lap right now where, like, people are a little bit more open with their conversations, so it's a little bit easier to follow people with similar thinking patterns to you. So, you know, people are kind of rebuilding their audience, especially the right. But also, some of the people leaving are literally saying stuff in public right now, which is just eye-opening. Like, it's not the people who are like, oh, well, there's not people leaving, or, you know, you guys are exaggerating, or, oh, you know, this is made up. It's the people who might as well be, like, coming out and being like, hey, I'm a groomer. Sorry. If you want to see anything interesting on the Twitter, read between the lines. There's a few of those guys trying to flee right now, and they're screaming, hey, just so you know, don't look at me. I might be a grifter. Or a groomer. Just saying. Or both. That's why I'm kind of grateful for Elon Musk. Because even if he doesn't do everything, he's going to shake a bunch of that shit out. And that is always a good thing.
Ooh.
I'm always down for fucking up the plans of anybody who's into doing that kind of shit. So, and if it leads to them being arrested and shit, even better.
Yeah.
Go Elon, go. Go Elon, go. I mean, I know that's not entirely what he's doing it for, but the fact of the matter is that's kind of been a little bit of the result of it. So,
yeah, no, that's perfectly fair. I was just saying ooh to this article that was written by an Albertan.
oh, okay.
Canada follows China on the path to soft totalitarianism. Yeah. Human rights violations by China's communist regime are well known. Those who dissent peacefully against Communist Party rule, against unjust laws, can find themselves persecuted and imprisoned. The regime harvests the organs of Falun Gong practitioners who have been sentenced to death, creating a booming transplant trade that is worth about $1 billion a year. Chinese websites have advertised hearts, lungs, and kidneys for sale and available to book in advance, suggesting that the victims are killed on demand. Jesus, since 2017, more than 1 million Uyghurs and other Muslims have been arbitrarily detained in internment camps. Ooh. Documented human rights abuses include forced abortions, forced sterilizations, forced labor, torture, physical and sexual abuse, mass surveillance, family separation, and repression of cultural and religious expression. That last one I think is like icing on the cake, but okay. In addition to these ruthless jackboot tactics, Chinese socialism also inflicts soft totalitarianism on citizens through a social credit system. by which government monitors the whereabouts, activities, and behaviors of the Chinese. Citizens with a low social credit score will find themselves banned from boarding trains and airplanes, excluded from better schools, prevented from patronizing hotels or restaurants, and in some cases registered on a public blacklist for all to see. Chinese with a high social credit score will be rewarded with tax breaks, discounted energy bills, faster internet connection, free gym memberships, lower interest rates from banks, and less frequent inspections and audits of one's business. Soft and therapeutic totalitarianism comes under the guise of helping and healing. Its victims are culturally blocked from having a prominent public platform or career. They are quietly canceled out of public, social, and professional life without the threat of jail, torture, or death. As the charter enters its 41st year, well, okay, we ignored the charter, so why do we care? Of becoming part of Canada's Constitution, we have not yet seen a great deal of harsh and militaristic tactics used in Canada. You sure about that? In Alberta, 3 pastors were jailed because Jason Kenney's government chose to go to court and obtain injunctions to escalate enforcement of health orders, rather than relying on regular law enforcement like the other 9 provinces did. In Ottawa, police arrested peaceful protesters, did more than that, at gunpoint, there we go. Police horses injured at least one woman, walked over her, big difference, and unarmored protesters were shot at, that's what it should say there, but it doesn't, were beaten with police thingamajiggers. Pastors in Alberta jails and Emergencies Act brutality aside, authoritarianism in Canada has been mostly of the softer variety. Many Canadians acquiesced to soft totalitarianism when they accepted vaccine passports from September 2021 to early 2022 with little outcry or protest. They're not wrong. A government with the power to exclude you from society over your refusal to get injected with a new substance which lacks long-term safety data can also make you a second-class citizen based on other private and personal decisions that the government deems to be unacceptable. Why assume that second-class citizenship will be based only on vaccination status and not on other factors chosen by government, as China has done with its social credit system? Vaccine passports were imposed in spite of the fact that COVID is not the Spanish flu of 1918, as was claimed by Dr. Neil Ferguson of Imperial College London in March of 2020, causing the worldwide panic that led to lockdowns. Vaccine passports were imposed after every provincial government in Canada had a full 18 months to increase hospital capacity to make room for COVID patients. I argued about that one a lot, actually. Governments kept vaccine passports in place long after vaccine manufacturers themselves had stated publicly that the vaccines do not stop the spread of COVID-19. Sorry, they had an editing error there. It just said, do not stop the spread, period. Vaccine passports were kept in place even after it had become obvious to everyone that vaccines were not stopping the Delta and Omicron variants from spreading, which I argued that one too. Vaccine passports were kept in place even while so many vaccinated Canadians got sick with COVID. Regarding Canadians who have not had 2 COVID shots, the federal government continues to violate their charter right to enter, remain in, and leave Canada. Even flying within Canada is illegal for Canadians who exercise their charter right to bodily autonomy. In short, don't expect governments to follow science other than political science. The digital ID and other new technologies will empower governments to control all aspects of Canadians' lives. For example, the government could very easily create the love passport or the tolerance passport to ensure that any Canadian who visits a website that the Prime Minister deems hateful will be banned from flying on an airplane. Domestic and international travel can easily become a privilege for Canadians with the politically correct opinions about vaccines, immigration, abortion, lockdowns, and other issues to exclude the racist, misogynists, anti-science extremists who were so denounced by our Prime Minister in 2021. Of course, these new and bigger violations of charter rights and freedoms will be sold and presented as scientific, convenient, and for the common good in the same way that vaccine passports were sold, promoted, and imposed. Adding a new digital currency to the digital ID will make it amazingly easy for Canada's federal and provincial governments to track citizens' donations to ensure that nobody is supporting the wrong cause, movement, church, synagogue, temple, or mosque. Well, I wouldn't say mosque. They love the mosques. The federal government used this tactic only 2 months ago during the Freedom Convoy, and Canadians have lost jobs over it. Not wrong. If any of the foregoing sounds conspiratorial, bear in mind that only 2 years ago it was a conspiracy theory that vaccine passports would be imposed on people and used to pressure or coerce everyone to get injected with a new COVID vaccine. No, the conspiracy theories occur every day in the communist China, which Mr. Trudeau so much admires. Yeah. Good article by an Albertan.
Well, yes.
Scary as hell, makes you think a lot, don't it? Very fucking long. But that was an opinion piece by John Carpe, a dirty Albertan. So, hey, Red Feather.
Hi.
Well, I don't...
Sorry, I got lost on Twitter.
Oh. see.
I was just sharing it and I got lost on there, and then there's just that thing where you get takes on here right now where you're just like, you're lost a little. Like this lady, totally not Kiwi. She just looks like an anime fan, like there's a lot of those on the Twitter. And she's just like, I literally don't care who buys Twitter or what they do with it as long as I can keep posting my booty IDGA off. So she's just happy that she keep doing what she wants to do. And this guy's like, when Florida and the rest of the U.S. become a real Handmaid's Tale, and you're used as breeding stock to produce white babies, you might care then. Like, what a leap! Like, for real, that was the response. Like, what a leap! Twitter's full of interesting people. I'm just saying. I think if you were ever to study psychology, Twitter's an interesting one.
Hey, Trucker, what is Fusion GPS again? Shit, he might not be here.
I don't think he is. Like, we kind of lost viewers, but I think that's because, like, AAA is late.
Yeah, oh, Trucker's not even here. Shit. Chat, Fusion GPS, go. What is it? I know it's significantly important. I just can't remember why. But apparently Fusion GPS, it's been proven now that they were the ones that Fusion GPS revealed to have pushed Russia collusion story to numerous outlets. So, yeah. And I've heard Fusion GPS being talked about before. That's the thing. I don't remember why they're bad.
Alrighty.
Whoa, this isn't good. At least it's not us. Biden administration creates disinformation governance board under the DHS to fight misinformation. So the Department of Homeland Security is going to have a disinformation governance board to fight misinformation. So what are they going to do? Arrest people that don't believe the vaccines do shit? Hey, Mr. Kelsey. It's a research firm. Okay. Hillary hired them. All right. See, that makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, like, the DHS is making a board for disinformation to fight misinformation. I thought they were different. They always say disinformation and misinformation, but apparently they're interchangeable. The Department of Homeland Security is setting up a new board designed to counter misinformation related to Homeland Security, with a focus specifically on Russia and irregular migration. So, on Russia, and what do you mean by irregular migration? You mean immigration? The board will be called the Disinformation Governance Board and will be headed by Executive Director Nina Foreign. So, what does that mean? How do they combat it? Are they going to combat it by targeting people like civilians? Do they combat it by arresting people? Do they combat it by handing out fines? Do they combat it by spamming Twitter with the "this is not correct" spam thing? Because, like, this is one of those colds that when America gets cold, Canada gets fucking cancer. This kind of shit is one of them. Like, how are that? This article better tell me how they're gonna fight it. Speaking with the House Appropriations DHS subcommittee, that shouldn't even be a fucking thing, okay? You know, there's too many positions and giving too many people taxpayer money when you've got House Appropriations DHS subcommittee. On Wednesday afternoon, DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said our Undersecretary for Policy, Rob Silvers, is co-chair with our Principal Deputy General Counsel, Jennifer Foran, in leading a just recently constituted disinformation governance board. What? A disinformation governance board. So the goal is to bring the resources of the department together to address this threat. The fuck? You want to know why they're doing this? Because fucking Musk bought Twitter. And so they can't directly use Twitter to push their fucking narrative. So now they gotta use the Department of Homeland Security to fucking do it for them. Because they know for a fact that Musk has SpaceX, he'd just fucking shoot him with lasers. Or something. But, like, the fuck? And then, of course, Jack Posobiec, I've already talked about you today, but again, this guy's up and he says, President Biden has decided the federal government will launch a disinformation governance board under the authority of the Homeland Security Department. Did you just think they would let you have free speech back? That's a good question. I almost want to retweet that my fucking self. Like, oof. Like, if the government's coming on this, maybe they're going to find something on Twitter that the government's going to have to fucking bat out of left field. Like, what if Hunter and Biden talked over Twitter or some shit? Like, Musk has access to all the fucking DM logs of, like, everybody, including Prince Harry. You know?
He's already really kind of going after them for the fact that they hid that article on his laptop. Like,
well, good.
Yeah, it's right there. He's like, oof. You have no idea how bad that could be.
Musk wants to swing his dick like a lightsaber at the fucking White House, and right now I would say go for it. Like, imagine how deep this goes. Like, what if, like, Pelosi said sensitive shit over Twitter? What if Hillary Clinton did? Oh my God, Musk. Say that you're in perfect health and you would never kill yourself because you're a fucking billionaire. Tweet it out now, man. Don't get Clintoned, please. As if we need the internet for that. Well, some people are fucking lazy, okay? Like me.
Ooh.
But, like, you know, if the White House is like wasting no time in going after this, they wouldn't put out someone saying we're battling misinformation unless there was something that when Musk found it, he would tweet out or he would leak. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What are they worried about him finding is what I want to know.
everything.
Yeah, but
That's why they
What is
shut down.
everything?
He shut down their ability to change anything. Like, they are locked out of their accounts effectively. They can't change anything. So, I don't know how long he's gonna have on that. Like, he gave them like 6 months, but with him, he could change his mind and give them more time or less time. I think it'll be however much time he thinks he needs.
Well, he's probably going to interview them and fire anybody who doesn't align with his goals with the company.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would be my first thing. Is like anybody that even looks a little suspicious that would betray me, just fucking gone. And he's probably gonna merge it with his internet link. Maybe he'll launch an internet company. Like they were even thinking he could use Twitter as like interplanet communications. Hook it up with SpaceX satellite, so when he launches people to Mars, they can tweet back to Earth. Like that kind of futuristic thinking, which I think this is a good year to be alive. I want to live at least another couple of years so that I can know what Musk's goal with Twitter is. Like, what's he going to do? He's going to take it to whole new fucking levels. It's Musk. He's going to think up something fucking new. It's going to be awesome. Like, imagine if they did have interplanetary communications. Like, that would just be fucking cool. He already gave an airline free internet. Speaking of leaking, has anyone heard what's happening with Assange? No?
No.
Were we supposed to? Did
I
something happen
also
to that guy?
I also don't have that much time left before I have to.
Oh shit! Yes, today's Wednesday.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm sorry. I talked most of that. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm good. I'll be talking about the same stuff on Hammer's channel. It's all good.
I kind of feel bad now. I kind of took over. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
All right.
You're enjoying yourself. That's all good. You're allowed to have fun on your stream too.
Yeah, and I'm not passed out. I had to make up for last week.
Alrighty.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining. We'll see you Friday.